So far we drew in model space, or we have everything in model space. Model space is the one-to-one, just like one-to-one environment, just like Rhino, where you work in building a model or a two-dimensional drawing. If we go down here to the layout tab, if you click on that, you'll get to a virtual paper. Okay, and that virtual paper, when you first click on, you should have all of your drawing right in there. Okay, and if you click right in there, you activated that viewport. This is called a viewport, and you could zoom in and out of it, pan, whatever you like. If you click out of the viewport, if you zoom in and out or pan, it is moving the paper. Okay, so it's either, if you're outside on the layout space, it is in the paper space, you are moving the paper itself. On the model space, you could tell we're in the paper space because right here it says paper, right? If you click here on inside the viewport, you'll now say model space, and that's where we can get the view right into this model space over here. So it's basically acting like a window that projects whatever's in your model space and represent it on something as small as a paper. Okay, so I know in the design program you already studied scale, so this is how we how we represent scale drawing on a paper format. Okay, so what we're doing is to zoom in and out so that you get the correct scale that you want to output. Okay, so right here, let's select one of the floor plan. Okay, and kind of zoom in, center it into that space, and if we select the viewport, we can go to the viewport scale right here where it has these little numbers right here on the application tab, or not application, the status tab. If we expand it, you'll see all of these different scale pop up. If we put it to 1/8, that is the scale at 1/8. Okay, if you click and go scroll this down and put it to 1/4, that is 1/4. Okay, so double the 1/8 scale. And in your when you built your first model, this is the scale that you actually made the physical model in. Okay, for what we're going to do, we're going to take that and put it into 1/8 scale. So let's find 1/8 and select that area. Okay, we can go ahead and click onto the viewport itself, and using the anchors, zoom in or isolate just that floor plan. Okay, in this way, or when you do this, you probably want to select the viewport, and there's a little lock symbol right there, right where you set the scale. If you click on that, it will lock that viewport. So now when you zoom in or out, it's no longer changing the scale of your drawing. If you had it so that is unlocked, click on this and you have it unlocked, and you click into the viewport and zoom in or out, it'll zoom in or out or pan into within that viewport. So what we would like to do is to establish the proper scale that we want to output or print onto, and then as soon as we do that, make sure that you lock it. Okay, and then you can move this viewport as well, just like you move the model. If you type in move, you can move this anywhere on the sheet itself. Okay. So we could always go ahead and make another viewport. This viewport is in this layout tab. So if you go to layout tab, you'll see several different viewports in this layout view. So rectangular, if I click on that, rectangular, and then click somewhere on the paper, again, it will make a new viewport on that virtual paper. Okay, and again, I will zoom in or pan and select maybe the other floor plan. And while I'm here, I probably want to turn that into an 1/8 inch scale drawing as well. Okay, and as soon as I do that, I can go ahead and move this so that I can just isolate that picture. And as soon as I do that, I probably want to lock it so that I don't ever change the scale again unless I want to. Okay, or so accidentally I don't change that scale. Okay, you can also, instead of going back to that viewport thing, you can also make a different shape viewport as well. If you wanted to make some weird shape viewport, it can be done. Okay, that works pretty handily if you just happen to just want, if you had something laid out and you just wanted these 3 objects. So we could put it into this, you know, block some parts of this out, block some part of that out, just to isolate certain views and such. Okay, so that's kind of an option there, where you can make a viewport that's not just a rectangular window. Whoops, screwed that up. That's the dangers of working with OSNAP. That sometimes it'll go exactly where you don't want it. Okay, so that's that right there. Okay, so again, there's other shapes, or you can set an object to a viewport as well. But the thing is, what we really want to know, what we really want to come across is that you create the viewport and lock it. Okay, after you have set the proper scale. Okay, you can also copy your viewport. So C for copy, or CO for copy, and then put it somewhere on the screen. And if I unlock that viewport, now I should be able to pan within that space. And there I have my one of my sections showing. If I copy this and select inside the viewport, I should be able to get my other section as well. And since all I did was pan it and not zoom in or out, this should be still at an 1/8 inch scale. So if I click on this, I check down here, it still says 1/8 inch. So I'm just going to lock it. Okay, and this one too should be 1/8 inch. So I'm going to lock that. So with this, I can now move this anywhere along the page freely. Okay. All these grid that's here, that is also on this. That is the grid that's in the viewport, or I'm sorry, in the model space. If I don't want that showing, just like I don't want, just like in the model space, I can click inside that area and turn off that grid. Okay, click inside the area, and turn off the grid with this icon right here, or as it says, F7, right? So the the function key is F7. All right. And we don't really have to worry about that grid because it's never going to print. But if it's bothering you that it is on there, you can not show the grid if you want. Okay.